Hey y'all. So I'm about to say something that I'm pretty sure that all of you probably know. I unambiguously and clearly and proudly and patriotically and dutifully endorse Joe Biden for the presidency of the United States of America. I do so not with a heavy heart, not with any reluctance. In fact, if you've watched any of my other videos, you probably already know what my stance is on that. You probably, I've said it a few times actually, but this is me clearly and without any ambiguity endorsing Joe Biden, and there's a few reasons why. First, let me explain why I don't endorse Donald Trump. First of all, Donald Trump calls the press the enemy of the people. Now, that would that would be all fine and monstrous in its own vein, but it gets complicated because Donald Trump calls certain groups, certain outlets of the press, the media, real news, unless they criticize it, and then they're fake news. Donald Trump denies that a global pandemic exists, making light of it, refusing critical aid to states that politically don't line up with him. Things like PPE, funds for hospitals, medical clinics, unemployment bailouts for you know working people. Instead of helping out small businesses, gives a stimulus check to his rich buddies. Meanwhile, Americans get a month's worth of pay to stretch out for a so far 10-month pandemic. And then asks the world for sympathy when he himself comes down with the hoax. Maybe. Donald Trump dodges the draft 5 times, then mocks prisoners of war, wounded and killed soldiers, veterans in general, transgender veterans, to the point where he, again, the 5-time draft dodger, has the fucking gall to say that transgender patriots are not allowed to serve in the military. Even though, once again, and this part's really important, he himself was too scared to. And this is going to be a theme, him being a coward. Donald Trump, going back to the thing about the press, mocked a disabled journalist. And just people with disabilities in general. Because, he's a monster. He mocks, but don't ever mock him because he is a thin-skinned glass cannon. Donald Trump touts this big, beautiful wall that Mexico's going to pay for. Still no check from Mexico and still no wall. A wall to replace an existing wall, mind you. Donald Trump talks about freedom of religion. And then institutes a travel ban. A travel ban almost exclusively on people from predominantly Muslim countries. Donald Trump talks patriotism and democracy. And then cozies up with dictators like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un and MBS. Donald Trump overlooks bounties on United States military personnel and then cozies up with the goddamn Taliban. But yeah, support the troops. Donald Trump talks about human decency and human rights. And then picks a proponent of conversion therapy for his vice president. And oh yeah, puts children in cages as a deterrent. Human rights, my ass. Donald Trump calls the press the enemy of the people. And then he faces these enemies with a resolute confidence and an air of, real manliness by storming out of an interview with Leslie Stahl because she dared to ask him tough questions. Oh, yeah. And we know this because he leaked the interview after bitching about leakers. Donald Trump sends law enforcement personnel, federal law enforcement officers, to fire tear gas and bludgeon Americans demonstrating and exercising their First Amendment right to assemble and to protest against the brutal tactics of law enforcement officers, so that he could go stand outside of a church, not even go in it, hold a Bible upside down for a fucking photo op. And then aligns himself with right-wing fascist thugs like the Proud Boys, neo-Confederates, neo-traitors, and neo-Nazis. Donald Trump calls himself sorry. Donald Trump calls himself the least racist person in the room, touting that he has done more for black people outside of maybe Lincoln, while giving more attention, more positive praise to far-right racist domestic terror groups than he does an organization that just wants the country to acknowledge that, yes, black lives indeed do matter. Black lives matter. Donald Trump calls himself a stable genius and proves it by non-ironically looking his opponent in the eye and saying, quote, "I know more about when than you do." Joe Biden, on the other hand, served in the military, while Donald Trump dodged the draft 5 times because his speedy weenies hurt. Joe Biden was taking a train to and from Delaware to work in public service, while Donald Trump's daddy was buying him a hotel building. Joe Biden has worked to rectify, reconcile with his own racial biases. While Donald Trump was taking out a full front page calling for the lynching of 5 innocent men of color. And then, like just a myriad of other racist bullshit. Joe Biden listens to the people that he beat in the primary, trying to figure out what's best for this country. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, well, you saw what he did to Lindsey Graham. Joe Biden pushes policies and an agenda that would try to unite this country. Donald Trump pushes an agenda of fear and hate and division. If you follow my wife's Facebook page, you know that we had a Joe Biden flag and it got stolen. Now, I'm not going to straight up say that the people in question were Trump supporters, but it is very telling that none of the Trump flags in our area were stolen at all. These looters, these thugs, so that's what they are. They're looters. Entered our property, destroyed our property. It was attached to a fence, which was connected to our house, which was separated from the road by a yard, albeit a small yard, but a yard nonetheless. They came in, stole, destroyed property. And the houses with the Trump flags, which, by the way, are lacking in American flags. They were silent, or they were outwardly hostile towards us. You see, that's the type of person that Trump loves. Because that's the type of person that Trump is. Divisive. Mean. Rude. Cruel. Hateful. Spiteful. Unpatriotic. I said it in a previous video, and I'll say it again. If you still support Donald Trump after all of this, you still, after everything, all of the things that he has said and all of the policies that he's enacted that have put down and further oppressed and suppressed, already oppressed and suppressed people in this country and on this planet, well, that must be because you like putting down other people, and therefore, fuck you. It is what it is. I'm not saying that Joe Biden is going to fix this country. I'm not saying that Joe Biden is going to bring about the change that this country needs in order to heal from hundreds of years of oppression. He won't. But Joe Biden is a man who has shown again and again that he loves this country and that he is willing to serve this country rather than loving and serving himself and his own ambitions. I support Joe Biden. I endorse Joe Biden. In fact, I live in Oregon. So I've already voted for Joe Biden by mail. If you love this country, you gotta vote for There's no other choice. If you love this country, if you love your country, not some piece of cloth, not some old ass parchment, not your guns, and not some thin blue line, but this country and all of the people in it, if you truly believe that all lives matter, you got one option. Because the third party vote, it, throwaway vote isn't worth it this time. Oh, yeah, and all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter, until LGBTQIA plus lives matter, until, uh, let's see, immigrant lives matter, until um, non Christian lives matter, until non straight white Christian dudes' lives matter. And so far, one candidate has acknowledged that. Oh yeah, by the way, the flag that was stolen is going to be replaced with the Black Lives Matter flag. Bye.